More and more often, we hear that tanks are becoming a thing of the past. Indeed, tanks already had a lot of issues before, getting stuck in the mud, blown up by landmines, and destroyed by cannons, and it's gotten even worse now. Enemy drones are up in the air 24/7. They can detect any kind of armored vehicle in no time and attack it with guided missiles. Tanks are also expensive, but no matter how much armor you add, they can't live long. What's the point then? Right? Well, we need to admit that tanks have always been vulnerable. Strong cannons, like the German 88mm or the Soviet A-19, could destroy any contemporary vehicle. Armor on World War II tanks couldn't keep up with artillery, while high-explosive and saboted rounds developed soon after made homogeneous steel plates useless. And yet, tanks persist. You see, strong cannons were expensive and hard to make, so they'd always been scarce. Their size and mass also made them heavy to transport by regular trucks. As a result, the already rare large-caliber cannons were often late to battles, getting stuck in the mud or soft soils, destroyed in air raids or artillery strikes. Time went on and brought in a new threat: guided missiles. What's new with those? Well, unlike large, heavy cannons, missile launchers are quite lightweight and compact. They can also be placed pretty much anywhere. Helicopters, planes, drones, regular cars, and even soldiers' shoulders. Cannons can lag behind the tank column and arrive late, while aircraft will always be able to catch up with tanks and outrace them. Shoulder-fired missiles can be hidden quite literally in any bush. Moreover, guided missiles don't need to target the thick frontal armor. Instead, they can hit thin roofs, and making a roof safe from HE missiles is simply impossible. Even reactive armor isn't enough. It also needs regular armor thick enough to absorb the remains of the shaped charge. However, roofs are usually thin, and making them thicker would significantly increase the mass. Besides, hatches and grills are going to remain vulnerable anyways. Is there anything to do? Well, if you can't defend yourself against a missile hit, you need to prevent it from happening. And there are a couple of options here. Laser warning systems can automatically shoot smoke grenades towards the threat to disrupt homing. Alternatively, an active protection system can intercept the missile. We see those more and more on modern tanks. One thing though, you can only take so many smoke grenades and countermeasures. A tank may fend off a couple missiles, but there's no chance for it under heavy fire. Does that make the tank obsolete? No. To start that heavy fire, you need self-propelled launchers, and those are easily detected by recon units, which makes them easy to hit with any means available. Detecting a shoulder-based launcher in a random bush is hard, but such ambushes might not be a big issue, since a tank can deflect them on its own. And here's the obvious conclusion. The best defense for modern tanks and the key to their survival is coordination between army units. If reconnaissance finds enemy cannons and launchers on time, the artillery will be able to suppress them, and the attacking tanks will suffer lower losses. If the enemy can launch missiles with impunity, it's hardly the tank's fault. Any kind of vehicle can be lost in such a case, and that's why tanks are still in service, despite all the idle talk.